What takes over, what makes you forget all the little trivia, is then the way the light hits the material, the reflections, adds a dimension that you didn't have in the models and drawings. That's how it lives. It becomes a living thing. The only thing an architect can do is be optimistic about how it interacts with the surrounding buildings. It can be a passive player, it can be a stoic player, it can be a passionate player. My thing is, I don't like the Chandler. I mean, it's not great architecture, but it's here and people have a lot of feelings about it. It's part of the community, so you have to respect that, whether you like it or not. I mean, I think that's like being a good neighbor. And so I tried to make a building that would preserve the iconic importance of the Chandler. To defer to that, I decided to break down the scale of the Disney Hall into smaller pieces, so it's not the same language. It relates to the Chandler.
Yeah.
Now the shapes of the exterior of Disney Hall are based on sailing. When you're wing on wing, the wind behind you, it forms a beautiful space. And if you look at the front of Disney Hall, it's wing on wing. It's the two sails. And you're at the helm. And this is the foyer. And here, when you look up, you'll be able to see the levels.
No matter how great the design is, if it doesn't sound great, it's going to be a failure. Frank was very clear about this from the beginning. He said, this is a hall for the orchestra, and this is a building for music, and that has to be the first priority. And everything else is of lesser importance. And I thought this was quite a statement from an architect. It's very unusual that an artist such as Frank puts the ego bit to a sort of lower level of importance than the actual function of the building.
Inside out.
Inside out.
Yeah, no, I never designed from the outside in. When people look at the buildings I design, they assume it's designed from the outside in, that I make a form and jam stuff in. And I think a lot of my colleagues do that, maybe, but I don't.
How did it feel for you as you started to see what had been your vision become a reality?
So I didn't know. I knew we'd done something right when the building was about 2/3 complete. And I came in and sort of eyeballed the soft spaces, the voids, and quickly in my mind kind of calculated that it was the same amount of absorption and reflective surfaces. And I called EP and I said, there's something special right now. I had this fancy computer so I could make shapes that were spherical. And he went crazy. He said, you can? And so we did. Well, the spherical means the sound is dispersed in many more directions. So there's, rather than just two. You need 2 inches of plaster. That's all. So the ceiling can be white, can be whatever. 2 inches of plaster. Psychologically, people feel better in a music hall when there's wood because they feel like it relates to the cello, the violin, you know, the instruments. And so there's a psychological positive hit you get. In the case of Disney Hall, it costs $5 million extra to do the wood, which is purely decoration for this psychological effect. And it was weighed, you know. I think the success of the hall would have been okay with the plaster. I'm doing one in plaster now for Michael Tilson Thomas in Miami, which is smaller. But we with Ernest and everybody, the orchestral committee and the people who were working on it, we decided that wood, the psychological effect was important. I wanted skylights to bring natural light in, because going to the Chandler or other places on a Sunday afternoon concert was like going to a movie, you know, in a matinee. You come out and then the light in LA is so beautiful. I thought letting it in would create a positive effect. And so we were able to do some of that, not as much as we wanted, but it's been very positive.
So with your...
So those are the ingredients. Now that's a box. And on either side of the box, there's toilets and stairs.
Yeah.
And you got to join those toilets and stairs on each side with a foyer. That's the plan.